could sum this movie up in one sentence, that sentence would be, look at this, 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 This movie really needed to slow down and narrow its focus. It had a lot of cool stuff going for it, in the plot, in the action, in the concepts, but they throw so much at you so quickly and so repeatedly for the 2-hour and 5-minute run, which feels much longer. It was just so overwhelming. And I know overwhelming can be a good thing in some science fiction movies. The first Star Wars had that effect, but in a completely different way. This movie was overwhelming just in how complex it was and how confusing. So let's try to talk about the plot of this movie. That's actually much more difficult than it should be. The main plot involves this woman named Jupiter, played by Mila Kunis, who finds out that she is the genetically reincarnated alien queen of Earth. Yeah, there's this whole race of aliens that rules Earth, and the planet had no idea. This is actually a really interesting concept. You've also got this kind of fountain of youth, this liquid that rejuvenates you and keeps you alive. And then there's a startling revolution about how that liquid is created. Add to that a half-human, half-wolf who rides around in hover rollerblades, and this whole battle that's going on for control of Earth. A very involved backstory. Do any of these sound like they would be good enough for their own movie? That's just the problem. This movie throws out all these cool concepts and you're trying to piece them all together and trying to figure out what's going on in the movie, and it's just so frustrating. I guess the best way to describe it is if you go out for dinner and you want to order, let's say, an entree, a couple of appetizers, and a side dish, and a dessert, your waiter brings all these things out all at once instead of letting you digest the first meal and then get to the second one and then get to your dessert. You walk out of that restaurant feeling like you're stuffed, and at the same time you don't feel like you got a good taste of any one particular dish. And that's this movie in a nutshell. The action scenes can be like that. They show you all these cool special effects, hover rollerblades, blasters, shields, all this stuff, but it's filmed so sloppily, and everything happens so fast, and it's so bright and so intense that you can't really take it in. And I'm a guy who likes action and can take a lot of confusion, but this movie, I couldn't tell what was going on. And then there's the acting. Now, Mila Kunis is a really good choice for this role, and I liked her character, yet at the same time, I feel like she was not very well written. First of all, she tends to accept everything that she's shown. She spends most of the movie doing whatever anyone else tells her to. Hey, well, you need to go up aboard with us. Okay. You need to claim your title so you can be the queen of this world. Okay. You need to marry me so that this person won't get my title and then we'll have peace and all this stuff. Okay. Now I know that she is resistant to some things, but she really goes along with things and she doesn't have much of a character arc. I don't really feel like she's much different at the end of the movie than she was at the beginning. There's maybe one notable change in her character. What I thought this movie was going to be, from the trailer, was a story about her coming to accept her role as this supernatural ruler of the universe, something that she would have trouble with at first, something she would struggle with. But instead, she pretty much accepts all the stuff as she goes along and doesn't really have that moment of transformation. All of a sudden, she falls in love with him, and you don't feel like they earned that. You don't feel like it was written in this direction. And of course, I have to talk about this guy. Now, I know that everybody's making fun of his voice, but I'm sorry, he deserves it. He has the cheesiest voice I've ever heard of a villain, and it seems like he's trying to top Michael Sheen from the Twilight movies in how hammy he could be. I half expected him to squee in the middle of an action scene. Yes, I know he's a great actor, and he could be nominated for an Oscar, but he says everything in such a fey voice. And it is very difficult to be a fey villain, even if you explode like this! Which he does constantly throughout the movie. Well, as part of my brand new rating system, I would like to award Jupiter Ascending with the rank of Master. Master of Confusion. And I'll award this guy the Master of Hamminess. Really, Michael Sheen has met his match.